moment that I lost control of the program yesterday because Orlovsky and everyone is yelling back and forth. Here are the numbers. Last year was one of the worst of Russell Wilson's career. And yes, he did have an injury that cost him to miss a few games. But you see the numbers. They are what they are. It was his fewest passing yards, lowest completion percentage, and the first time he's ever had a losing record. So, Bartholomew, I'm trying to read your face. And you're a difficult, I'm never playing poker with you. I can't read. You always seem unhappy with something. So do you agree? How good is Russell Wilson and how good does he make Denver?
I mean, he makes them an instant Super Bowl contender. I think arguably he's going to push Kansas City for the division. You just see, people hate that. I hate when people don't put the proper respect on people's name. Remember, before Aaron went off for his 2 MVPs, there's a reason why they drafted Jordan Love, because it looked like he was starting to falter. He couldn't stay healthy. Russell Wilson was on a bad football team. And listen, I've been on a team with the offense led by Brian Schottenheimer. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Right now, you look at what happened, right? He didn't have an offensive line that could ever protect him. Listen, nobody saw DK Metcalf being that great.
Their offensive line is better than Denver's, though. When you take a look, when you match up the Broncos and you take a look at Seattle's roster up against Denver's, they have better receivers. The only thing that Denver, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, you don't think that they're...
Yeah, I'll take Sutton, Patrick, Hamler, Judy. They go deep, and now they have 2 great running backs.
Here's what Russ has that he didn't have in Seattle now. He's got a defense.
Yeah, the Legion with no boom. They ain't had no boom in a long time. So that puts a lot on Russell Wilson. I think this makes him an instant success. And listen, you don't have to have a great offensive line if you have a great defense and you have an offense that can run the football and you have weapons galore on the outside. This is a team that almost went to the playoffs with Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock.
You know what's fascinating, actually, and this is a perfect little illustration of it, is that Russell Wilson, for the longest time, I think in his career, has been something of a polarizing guy.
People hate on him.
People like to.
They do.
And again, Diana's not hating on him, and neither was Booger. But there are questions about whether, and no one disputes whether he's a really good player. He's obviously a really good player. But should he be in the discussion with the Aaron Rodgers and the? Yes.
He's one play from being a 2-time Super Bowl champion.
I know, but that one play is him throwing an interception on the 1-yard line.
Hey, that's a bad call. Hand it off to beast mode. We're not having this discussion, right? But this is a guy that had his window.
Diana, what did you hear as you went around the league yesterday?
Well, first of all, we know that Denver, they had plan A, Aaron Rodgers, plan B, Russell Wilson, and not really sure what their plan C was. I guess it would be Drew Lock. That said, as much as Denver was doing their homework on Seattle, Russ was doing his homework on the Denver Broncos. He was in the building yesterday. I spoke to some people on the staff about sort of just the vibe of him. What was he like? Apparently, he was quite educated on this organization. This isn't something that just happened overnight. This has been going on for weeks. And, I don't think there's any secret here that Russell Wilson has not been happy going back to last season when this whole story started. So in terms of the fit, and maybe as we used to talk about when it came to Aaron Rodgers, a change of scenery is sometimes just enough to give somebody new motivation to go back to being the successful quarterback that he was.
Yeah, look, I mean, he's super buttoned up, and again, no one questions any of that. So, Tim Hasselbeck, help me here, because I got some people, and Bart is not by any means the only one, saying the Broncos are now an instant Super Bowl contender, and I've got others saying Russell Wilson shouldn't have thrown himself into the murderer's row that is all those quarterbacks in the AFC West and the AFC at large. Where do you stand on all this, Timmy?
Well, listen, it may sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth with this one. Here's the deal. I think that he's the 3rd best quarterback in that division, and that has a lot to do with how I feel about Justin Herbert. I think most people would agree that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the division. But saying that, I would also kind of agree with Barton from the standpoint, like, look, Russell Wilson threw 40 touchdown passes in 2020. So this idea that Russell Wilson, like, hey, he hasn't been as good as everyone, is talking, like he's been. Look, he didn't have a great year last year. He missed some games because of the finger injury. And oh, by the way, he came back from that finger injury way faster than anybody ever thought that he could. And so, look, I think Russell Wilson does make them a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're the favorite to win that division, because that division is loaded with good teams and it's loaded with other really good quarterbacks, many of them ascending. And I would put Herbert and Mahomes obviously in that category.
Yeah, and here's what it does.
I've played against the best. I played against them all. You want to talk about Peyton Manning, you want to talk about Steve McNair in his prime, you want to talk about Tom Brady. I played against Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I put him in that level. His football acumen, his ability to buy time with his legs, his physical when Russ cooks, his ability to understand the game. Listen, he's one of the best I've ever played against, and that's saying a lot.
Here's what it is doing. I feel like since we started on the show a few years ago here on Get Up, we never talk about the Denver Broncos. I don't think I've ever come on the show and said, let's talk Broncos here. I'm excited about it. The Broncos are back. They are going to be a topic of conversation all next season and pretty much probably for the rest of Russell Wilson's career.
Quick final thought.
Why do you think Denver was on so many quarterbacks' lists?
Because the
right?
defense
Why
is
do you
good.
think Deshaun Watson wanted to go there?
Yeah.
Why do you think Aaron Rodgers wanted to go there? Why do you think he was on the list? Because everybody looks at his roster and saying, man, this is a tremendous roster, top to bottom. They got plenty of salary cap space.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.